for attending our webinar today on Office 365 integrations. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. This is a bi-weekly 30-minute webinar series designed to keep you updated on the hottest topics, products, and developments in Microsoft SharePoint. You can find our full list of webinars on www.susqtech.com/webinars. So for today's session, our topic is Office 365 integrations. Our presenter is Terry Simpson, Solutions Architect here at SusQtech. You can contact Terry at terrys@susqtech.com, or you can follow him on Twitter at Terry D. Simpson. I'm Julia Oates, and I will be moderating today. I'm the Marketing Coordinator here at SusQtech. So let's get started.
All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about Office 365 and using that in your environment. So to get started, we all work together and collaborate in our offices, outside of our offices, or even around the world together. And when we do that, we share a lot of information. It could be discussions, emails, even files. And when we share all that information, it's all communicated through some type of server or like mystery box that's just out there. And that box could be in the corner of your office in a closet. It could be out in a hosted environment. It could be anywhere. And so what we want to look at today is talking about Office 365 in the cloud. When you have this server out there in the current state, most likely, there's a lot of upkeep with it, maintenance, and those type of things. And we want to talk a little about the Office 365 environment and how that relates to your business and collaborating. And that Office 365 environment is going to be in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about that machine that's over in the corner office if the power goes out, if it goes down, do you have a backup system, and those type of things. But what we're really going to focus on today is the functionality within Office 365 and really what you get with that platform. So with Office 365, you get SharePoint online. You also get Link online. Get Exchange, Office Professional Plus, which is a great addition here to Office 365. A lot of functionality you get out of this, along with Office Web Apps. So we're going to review each of these items today in a little bit more detail. So what we're going to do is talk about Exchange Online first. And many of you may be using Outlook today. And Outlook would function, just like it does in Office 365. It's just that it's a matter of where does that data live. So with Exchange Online, you're going to be able to have all of that out in the cloud environment. You're going to have access to that anywhere. So your email, calendaring, contacts, and tasks, even instant messaging and presence are all there with Exchange Online. Another nice feature is that you can even get access to all that information on a mobile device using ActiveSync, and you can even wipe out that mobile device and all the information that you have in Exchange in the event that for some reason your phone was lost or stolen. So I'm going to switch screens here. I'm going to go and look at Exchange Online and show you what that looks like in the Office 365 environment here. So I've logged in via the web application here, and I immediately see that I'm in the administrative view here. So your administrator of the site would be able to have the option to reset passwords, do a lot of different things right here on the site. Your normal end users would be able to go into Outlook, Link, and their SharePoint site from there. But all the functionality in Outlook you're going to get right here within the web application. So it doesn't matter what machine you're on, using any browser that's out there, even on your mobile device. So I can immediately get online here and see Outlook and get into my inbox and get into the calendar and contacts lists. You can even see that I'm online now, signed in right here, which is great. I used this the other day here at our office when my laptop was at home. I was here at the office and I needed to get some work done without having to drive back home, so I was able to grab another laptop that was in the office and able to get access to everything that I needed right here within Outlook. So Link Online is another integration point with Office 365 that you can utilize. And we're starting to use this more and more and more every single day. And I think most individuals that we work with, it's the same case. With Link, you get instant messaging so that we can have conversations going back and forth. You can use Click to communicate from Outlook, which I'll show you that in just a second, which you can go out to Outlook, and when you type in an email address, you're going to be able to see that address and see that the individual is online, whether they're available or not available, and you can initiate that instant message from right there in Outlook. The presence feature is great because you can see if folks are online or not. So in the screenshot over here, I see that Angela is currently away and not available. It may show that she's red, meaning she's busy at the moment, and that activity actually changes automatically so that if you have a calendar item and you're scheduled to have a meeting, the activity on your status will immediately change because it knows that you're in a meeting at that point. And that presence goes into SharePoint as well. So if you're on the SharePoint website, you can see the status of whether you're red, green, or yellow in that environment. Audio calls are very handy to be able to have audio calls through your PC using your microphone and speakers, or you can even go to video calls using the camera on your local machine. Also use screen sharing to do web conferences, transfer files, and with Link Federation, you can even connect an instant message with individuals outside of your organization, which is great so that you can leverage not only Link internally, but you can use it externally as well. So we're going to minimize the screen here. And I want to show you a little bit about Link right here on the page. So I'm running Link on my local machine here, and we'll see all the colleagues that I have out here. And I've actually pinned the colleagues in here for these are the folks that I contact frequently. And then these are other contacts that I have internally that I may not talk with very frequently, so I put them in their own category. So Julia's sitting here with me today, and if I want, we can initiate an instant message with her. So I can say, hello, Julia, and then we can start having a conversation back and forth right here on the instant message. But what's nice is I've just now started that conversation with the instant message. And at some point, Julie and I may decide that, you know what, the instant message, we just need to talk a little bit about this. So let's go ahead and initiate a call. We can come down and say, let's initiate a Link call. And that's going to go over to her machine. It's going to activate that call. And now we can have a conversation through our PCs without the phone, which is great to be able to have that type of activity right here. From there, if we wanted to, we could further come in and start a video. And what I can do is hit video, and we both have webcams on our laptops, and at that point she's going to be able to see me and I can see her. So then we can have that video chat there as well, which is a great way to collaborate if we're in separate environments. And then if we want to escalate this even further, we can go and share our desktops. And we can have the audio, the video, and the desktop, all three at the same time sharing here together, which is great to be able to collaborate and work on different things. And it's nice because we don't have to go and start a session independently with another program. We can just, as we're having this conversation, we can escalate from the call to the video to the screen share as needed during our conversation as we're collaborating. So a lot of things that you can do right here within Link. Link's going to give you the ability to find all of your other users that are out there so that we can go out and actually do a search here to find Julia. So I see Julie. I even see other individuals that are in my contacts list in Outlook to be able to connect with those individuals. And if we had federation turned on with some of these external organizations, I'd be able to see that they were online as well. So it's a great way to connect and collaborate. The other nice things is the status update. So I can have a status update to show individuals what I'm doing currently. And this status update actually links into Outlook so that if I'm in a meeting, it'll tell us what meeting I'm in. And if you want to, it'll even go out and show that I'm out of office. So if I have out of office turned on within Outlook, it's going to show that, which is great because I don't have to remember to come and update my status to communicate that I am currently out of the office. It's going to do that automatically for me. It's a great feature within Office 365. Within Office 365, you also get a SharePoint site, depending upon the version of Office 365 that you choose. You can have My Sites, Team Sites. You can have an intranet for your internal organization to be able to collaborate. You can even build some small versions of a public-facing website. And then you can also use SharePoint Workspaces 2010. Which is getting a lot more use these days because it gives you the ability to access lists and libraries offline. So that if I go and I'm going to travel somewhere and I get on a plane and I'm already connected to a workspace or some lists and libraries, I can go and interact with the website via the SharePoint Workspace, work on documents, and then once I land and get connected back to the internet, it's going to connect those right back for us. So I'll show you right here. We've logged into Office 365 and I now want to go to my team site. And this is really an out-of-the-box SharePoint site that you get with Office 365, and you can really start to configure the site to your own needs. We really haven't done a lot with this site. This is the site that comes up as soon as you install it. I did add a document library to the home page right here so that we can show some different documents. But you can start to add different pieces of content and really make this useful for your organization, the business needs that you need or have on this particular website. All right, in addition to Office SharePoint You Office, you also get Professional Plus. And with Office Professional Plus, you get Access, InfoPath, Outlook, Publisher in Word, Excel, OneNote, PowerPoint, and also the Microsoft SharePoint Workspace and Link as well. This is a lot of great, a lot of things that you can do with Professional Plus. So you can install these on your local machine and have access to all of this software with Office 365. So you get a lot with this, all for one monthly cost. Now, if you take Office Professional Plus and then you also combine that with Office Web Apps, it makes for a really good marriage of collaboration and what you can do on the website. So with Office Web Apps, you do not need to have all of those Office products on your local machine. So let's say I went out and bought a brand new laptop today, has Windows on it. I get on the internet. I don't have to have any of that installed. I can immediately go out and interact with those documents right there online. So I can review documents, perform some editing, and you can do all that virtually. And I'll show you that right here on the site we were just looking at. So we have a couple documents that are out here, and I'm going to open up this expense reimbursement guidelines document. And here we are opened up right within the web application. So I'm not using Word on my local machine. If we wanted to use Word, we could say open in Word, which gives us the full functionality of what's on our local machine. But if we wanted to, we could come in and just edit in the browser. Now here we're just viewing the content that's on the page, but if we want to, we can edit in the browser. We get this little WYSIWYG right here at the top, and we can come in and start adding page content right here. And it's nice because you get all of the functionality here for bold, italicize. We can insert items right here, change the view right here within the web application. You can even do this on your mobile device as well. So a lot of functionality. So you can imagine being on an iPad, opening this up and being able to get some great functionality right here on the website. Once we're done, we can either save it back to the site, or what I'm going to do is go ahead and close this, which is going to save that item right back on the SharePoint environment. So Office Web Apps gives you a lot of functionality to be able to work with documents online in that site. And here are a list of all or several of the plans that they have. There's a few more basic plans here that can just give you Exchange Online for email, but these are the primary ones that most individuals are looking at. So depending upon what functionality you need, you can start here with the E1 plan, which gives you Exchange, SharePoint, and Link. If you want a little bit more functionality, you can add in Office Web Apps. A little bit more functionality, you get the Office Professional Plus and everything that we're showing you with that. Step that up one more notch and you get the E4 plan, which gives you the Link Voice, Link Plus, and some additional functionality here. So depending upon what your organizational needs are, you can choose between the different plans that are right here. And the great benefit to this is that all this is in the cloud. You don't have to worry about the upkeep of that server, maintenance, and everything that goes along with that. So from here, what we want to do is kind of open up this to a few questions. So I'm going to look over here and see what questions that we do have related to Office 365. All right, so let's go back to the question module here. I think we have a few out here that you folks have. All right, so let's look through a couple questions here. Scroll to the top of the list. So what is the recommended internet connection to Office 365 in an office size of about 100 individuals? So this is a great question. It's more of a networking question as far as, what do you need as far as your connectivity, because you're going to have a lot of folks out there using that connection and getting access. So it's a great question, and to be honest with you, I'm not really sure as far from a networking perspective what you're looking at from connection perspective. You're going to need a certain amount of bandwidth. How much that is for those 100 individuals can vary a lot. If individuals are just out there on the site and they're just doing things periodically, sending a few emails, doing those type of things, then you're not going to need a lot of bandwidth for those individuals. But if those individuals on that 100 staff, if they're all out there at the same time working on a lot of documents, then you're going to need more bandwidth in your network to do that. So that's a great question. I would imagine now what you have for using Outlook and surfing the web today, if that's okay in the environment that you have, you can probably continue with that. But that's a really tough question to answer there as far as the exact bandwidth. All right, so with SharePoint, do we have access to central administration? And that's a really great question, because with Office 365, you're going to get your SharePoint environment, but you're in a shared environment with a lot of other individuals on some servers out there, and you do not have access to central administration with that version or that team site that you're going to be using on Office 365. So in that scenario, if you need access to central administration, that means you're doing a little bit more advanced functionality with SharePoint, not just what you get with out-of-the-box configuration with that version. And in that situation, you'll probably want to have a separate SharePoint site outside of Office 365. And you want to have that into an environment that's dedicated to you so that you do have access to get onto the server, which is what you need in order to get into central administration. So in that scenario, you really want to look at what you're trying to do with the environment and see if that works for you as far as the version that comes with Office 365. So what is the pricing structure for each? And are there charity discounts available was another great question. So the pricing structure Let me bring that up here real quick. And what I would encourage you to do is go to the Office 365 website. And on that site is a lot of great pricing information. You can download a 30-day trial. I encourage you to give us a call too if you want to download a 30-day trial. But the plans are here in the overview section where you can start to look at them. And you can start to look at the professional and small business sides here as well. So let's say we wanted to go and buy a plan, then we can come out here to the site and see the different pricing levels. So if you want to just email, you can start out $5 per user per month. The plans that I was showing you in the screenshot a few minutes ago were anywhere from $10 to $27 per month. So the mid to business size plans. So the E1 was $10 a month, the E3 was $24, and I think the E7 is, or E4 is right around $27 a month. But typically you look anywhere from $10 to $24 per month per user, which is a very low cost to get into this, the entry from a monthly perspective. All right, so is the Outlook GUI as rich as functionality as the standard Outlook client? Well, the nice thing is that you can take Office 365 and integrate it into the Outlook client that you're using today. So I'm using the exact same Outlook 2010 on my local machine that's bringing in all of my email. So I get a lot more richer functionality when I'm in that actual application rather than being in the browser and using those type of things. So when you're in the browser, you get a little bit more limited functionality, but if you want that rich experience, then you definitely want to use that in your local thing. All right, so here we go. I'm already using Outlook and SharePoint. So how do I access Office web apps? That's a great question. So if you're using Outlook and SharePoint in Office 365, obviously you get access immediately to the web app version. If you're using Office or Outlook today and you're not using Office 365, then you have to look at some alternatives here to being able to get access to that. Here internally, we were using BPulse. It's Business Productivity Services or online services, and we had a web apps version of that using that tool. But now we're over on once you're on Office 365, then you can use that. So that may need a little bit more follow-up conversation to see exactly what you're using in your particular environment. So that seemed to be it for the majority of the questions there. I hope this has been informative for you guys. I definitely encourage you to send me an email or follow on Twitter if you have any questions, or reach out to Julia, her information right here. And we'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have out there. Our next webinar is going to be on March the 1st, and it's going to be on SharePoint Goes Public. What we're going to be talking about in this session is SharePoint being used on public-facing websites. Of course, with SharePoint at its core being a collaborative type of environment, it's well known for intranet functionality, and it's fairly well known for its public-facing sites, but we want to do a little session to talk about SharePoint as it's being used for public-facing sites. So this topic is SharePoint Goes Public. So we thank you all for coming out and logging into the session today. I hope this has been informative for you, and encourage you to reach out to us if you have any further questions from here. Thanks.